Singing kids. These signs look more like they've been mass-produced by a studio filming a television show than a sign any of these protesters would make at home. You'd be lucky that everything was actually spelled right if these were legit. Forget all the pictures and multicolored letters. These are protesting signs made of lies and Amazon's money.
I'll tell you, these kids really are a comfort in troubled times, aren't they?
Referring to kids, any kids, as a comfort. TVSins knows better, and so do you, Homelander.
My son, he did stop those bank robbers the other day. You saw that video, right? So let's just say I might be keeping that last chair warm for him.
Show continues to keep calling its Justice League knockoff the Seven, even though it hasn't had 7 members since Translucent took an explosive up the tailpipe.
Would you train your boy up to be a killer?
Butcher clearly neglected to watch 15 seasons of awesomeness where John Winchester trained both of his boys to be killers.
Did you know that these quote-unquote vaccines that they're giving out at the Starlight House actually cause autism?
While this anti-vax rhetoric is well on point with the character of Firecracker, it doesn't make it any less cliched or annoying of a topic to keep droning on about.
I'm back!
Watching your own news position while at news positions. F***ing Starlight.
Your mom has power of attorney, and she has to execute your dad's wishes.
Awesome. We're getting the nitty-gritty of Huey's legal battle with his...
Where are the kids? The ones in the basement.
Wow, a Pizzagate subplot all the way back from 2016. I could see that joke being a little more relevant in 2019 during season 1, but in 2024 during season 4? It's a bit dated, mate. Methinks the show is starting to run out of steam.
How does a chemist know how to disarm a guy like Jason Bourne?
Colin clearly does not understand the power knowledge of the periodic table brings to the table. You could roll that periodic table poster up into a tube, and I actually might not know how to chemist.
You need me to kiss it, buddy?
Elliot Knight isn't offering to kiss my boo-boos in this scene.
Soups are entertainers, period. End of story.
Only when they're combined with good writing. They aren't automatically entertaining on their own, as Marvel is increasingly finding out. Episode feels the need to show us Frenchie's eye dilating after he takes a pill, as if we don't understand what it means when we see Frenchie take a pill. I want to send the complete glossing over of how hacking works, but Kimiko is just too damn charming. Anytime I'm sad now, I'll just loop a gif of her dangling her fingers into the air. One sin off for Karen Fukuhara.
Oh, that was hard. That was like 10% of hard.
Interesting, because I was going to say this episode so far was 90% not interesting, so the math checks out.
I mean, Sage? Elon Musk has more charm than she does.
Knocking the most interesting character on the show this season. Some might even say the only interesting character on the show this season.
Where a woman can make it all the way to the 7 towers without blowing some dude to get there.
Firecracker conveniently saying something that is 100% aimed at Starlight directly into the camera while Starlight is conveniently watching said program is convenient. Now forcing Butcher to come up with a more creative way to spell his favorite C word to get around online censors. The rest of us had to work really hard to get R-rated names into our Halo matches back in the day, and he just gets to straight up use the word? I don't think so.
It is long overdue for Vought and Homelander's power
To be curbed and regulated because they do not have all the power.
They very clearly do have all the power, or you wouldn't be pushing legislation to limit said power. You remember what it was like working for Vought, right? Where exactly did accountability come from? Legal limits? Nope. If it existed, it was courtesy of blackmail from the boys.
A few days ago, valuable surveillance footage was taken from Crime Analytics and given to Starlight, or some members of her team.
Well, it might be convenient that Vought happened to have footage clearing the suspects in question. It is insanely inconvenient that they don't seem to have surveillance inside their own f***ing offices that should have spotted whoever stole said footage. Also, even if Vought did have this surveillance footage, why would they be the only ones who did? This writing clearly exists to give an easy on-ramp for A-Train to finally get some character development, and while said development is welcome, the methodology is not. Even with his new heart, A-Train can't outrun this sin.
Kevin, honey, is that you?
Meanwhile, on the adventures of the Deep and Ambrosius, also known as the aftermath of the boys' side stories.
Disney's been trying to recruit me for years.
Disney.
I can tell when you're lying.
We all can, Ryan. If Butcher's lips are moving, there's a 99.5% chance he's lying. You don't need superpowers to figure that one out.
I could bury you 6 dozen feet under.
You could not. Do you have any idea how hard it would be to dig a 72-foot hole wide enough to bury a body? Even a metaphorical one?
You got a second goddamn chance to actually give a shit.
I'd say A-Train is actually on his 300th chance to actually give a shit at this point. I'm starting to lose faith in MM's ability to do math. Meanwhile, on the adventures of Frenchie and Kimiko, also known as the Joni Loves Chachi of the boys' side stories. Getting upset with Frenchie for being high during a mission when you were drunk and almost sabotaged the group's last job at the Best Western. Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make slitting throats lots of fun. Rubber ducky, I'm awfully fond of you. Boop boop be doop. Also, the boys has now ruined bath time for the countless young ones watching this episode because their parents forgot to set a password on their Prime account.
Colleen, what are you doing here? Just some family time.
Character feeling guilt over his murderous past hallucinates all the dead bodies they are responsible for. Cliché.
I'm so sorry. No, you're not.
Colin? We'll handle the you're not business on our end, okay? F***ing actors.
Kill them. Every last one. And women and children.
Thinking that Anakin's dialogue from Attack of the Clones could be fixed if only it was shifted into the second person. Are you asking for your character or for the audience? Because for the life of me, I have no clue where Frenchie went during that hallucination.
My dad says I shouldn't even care.
Skip.
I have this habit, see, of pushing people away.
Thinking this is something that needs to be said after watching Butcher push people away for 4 seasons. Any other shocking news you'd like to share? Your favorite words are bullocks and diabolical? Your accent changes by the episode? Snape killed Dumbledore? What? Butcher's making a good and morally correct decision for once? I can't wait for that to be undone in a single episode, just like his season 3 progress towards being a good dad for Ryan.
I'm sorry, who let you in? Bedroom window.
You know what? Let's just assume VOD has no security. Season after season, we watch people sneak into this tower like it's a f***ing Walmart. Just have characters show up at VOD. We don't need to know how they got there. Whatever they'll say is probably bullshit anyway.
Now you can't say Merry Christmas.
Episode has time for this far more problematic version of Save the City, as if being featured in Hawkeye wasn't punishment enough.
The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. It's the birth of Christ. He needs to hear it.
Who is he in this verse? Does Christ need to hear about his own birth? Because I'm pretty sure going from heaven to exiting a birth canal is hard to miss. Not sure he needs to hear it. He was there, dude, in flesh. It's kind of the point of the whole story. Episode continues the myth that there are vents big and strong enough for a full-grown adult to crawl through.
That's right.
And yet again, I'm confused about how Homelander's super hearing works, because there are some instances where he would have heard Mother's Milk either talking from across the arena or in Huey's earpiece, but then there are some instances, like here, where he apparently can't even hear something a few feet above him. Does Homelander's hearing read the scripts?
Singer and the military are joined at the tip.
That doesn't seem like a very stable connection, given how often that particular appendage changes size. I like this scene better when Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe did it. No one will be seated as Huey crawls away from Homelander's heat vision. A-Train Ex Machina.
Man is condemned to be free because once thrown into this world, he's responsible for everything it does.
Nice try, but the actual quote from John Paul Sartre is, "Man is condemned to be free. Condemned because he did not create himself. In other respect, is free because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does."
A massive electrical fire broke out this afternoon at Botcoin Arena during a tech rehearsal.
Funny because a massive sinning broke out when a show I love resorted to news position for the 500th time.
But you were always so fun. We have dance parties.
I never wanted you to see it.
Mental health is so important to portray and discuss in media, and depression is so often invisible so others don't see it. Go ahead, take another sin off for this important scene about the weight of depression.
You want to watch Transformers 2? The one with the racist robots?
That's not unique to Transformers 2.
I flew to Coney Island to get those hot dogs.
Willingly visiting Coney Island for any reason, let alone the quote-unquote hot dogs.
John, you need to go home.
Thing residents of the island of Patmos told the disciple whom Jesus loved somehow makes it into the episode.
It's the dumbest game ever.
Where are the kids?
I want to buy your women, the little girl, your daughters.
I mean anything.
Anything.
You. Me? No. You.
But the women and the children, too.
I always used to let him win. But I ain't making the same mistake with you, Governor.
Well, suck my stem, assholes!
And when I went to you to ask you, why? You remember what you said?
I said Titanic! I said it!
Here's your peppermint latte.
Why, thank you.
Happy holidays.
Wait, what did you say? What did you say to me?